Hi, my name is Adam Whitmer. I'm the founder and host here at ComplianceCohort.com, and this compliance clip is going to talk about RESPA concerns for gifts and promotions. The reason I want to talk about this topic in particular is I've received a lot of questions over the years regarding RESPA Section 8. So RESPA Section 8, of course, prohibits unearned fees and kickbacks. But there's been a lot of questions about gifts and promotions over the years. In fact, a couple years ago, I went into a financial institution and was talking to a bank president who used to be a mortgage lender and he explained to me how there was an area mortgage lender who was taking on an annual basis the area realtors on an annual trip. And this was a big deal. And this president was explaining how it's tough to compete against that lender because that lender has all the realtor business because the realtors love this lender, of course, because she takes them on a free trip. They were going to places like casinos overnight and overnight to a party island and other trips of area destinations where this lender was paying for these realtors to go. It was a big deal. It was an annual thing and every realtor in town would go to it. So the president, of course, asked me, he said, is this permissible? Well, of course, under RESPA Section 8, there is a prohibition to this, and it doesn't just apply to financial institutions, it applies to all lenders, and even those realtors, it would apply to them as well. Now, what's interesting is over the years, it seems a lot of lenders and even financial institutions have sort of forgotten about RESPA Section 8 to some degree because there has not been a lot of enforcement relating to RESPA Section 8. Now, over the last decade, we've started to see a little bit more enforcement, some enforcement actions and fines and penalties against non-bank institutions like title companies and realtors and other types of lenders and brokers because the CFPB has been cracking down on that. Well, just this week, as of the time of this recording, what we actually saw was the CFPB released several frequently asked questions related to Section 8. And I've said for years that RESPA Section 8 is going to come full circle, it's going to come back down, and the regulators are going to start cracking down on this again. They had done so decades ago, but over the last several decades, it seems like enforcement has been down. Now, we've seen a resurgence of UDAP, unfair and deceptive or abusive acts and practices. So it makes sense that RESPA Section 8 violations would also come up because there's typically consumer harm when you have unearned fees and kickbacks in relationship to a mortgage. So there were frequently asked questions that were released by the CFPB, and I want to go over one of these because it really does relate to that lender who is taking all of these realtors on this yearly trip that they would pay for everything. So let's take a look at this frequently asked question. The question says this. It says, are gifts and promotions allowed under RESPA Section 8? Now the answer is quite long, so let's take a look and see what it says. The answer says, gifts and promotions generally are things of value and therefore could, depending on the circumstances, violate RESPA Section 8. If the gifts or promotion are given or accepted as part of an agreement or understanding for referral of business incident to or part of a real estate settlement service involving a federal-related mortgage loan, they are prohibited. So really, any of the mortgage loans that you're doing, it would be prohibited. Now, they go on to give us an example. They say, for example, if a settlement service provider gives current or potential referral sources, like realtors, tickets to attend professional sporting events, trips, restaurant meals, or sponsorship of events, or the opportunity to win any of these items in a drawing or contest in exchange for referrals as part of an agreement or understanding, such conduct violates RESPA Section 8A. Now, I could see this lender who takes these trips or the realtors who go on these trips saying, hey, wait a second, that specifically says it has to be part of an agreement or understanding. We don't have a written agreement, so that doesn't apply to us. Well, that Q&A from the CFPB that was released on their site this week at the time of recording says this. It says such an agreement or understanding need not be written or oral and can be established by practice, pattern, or course of conduct. So it does not need to be written. If you're doing it, that is a problem. Now, it does go on to say this. It says, however, in certain circumstances, gifts or promotions directed to a referral source are not prohibited if they are a normal promotional or educational activity meeting conditions under Regulation X. And the CFPB actually gives us several very specific examples. This would be something like professional education where you charge everybody the same and they pay for it. You're not giving it for free. Or maybe a title company gives some education on what's going on in the real estate market and it's open to everybody and they never charge for it. In that case, that could be permitted, but you have to be extremely careful when you're giving something of value. So it's very important that you understand that any gifts or promotions could easily be a violation of RESPA Section 8. And you definitely don't want to be giving these all-inclusive trips to realtors, taking them up to casinos and other party islands so that they refer you business, because that would absolutely be a problem. That's all I have for you in this compliance clip. If you're interested in those CFPB frequently asked questions, you can just do a search, do RESPA Section 8 frequently asked questions CFPB on Google, and I'm sure you'll find it. I'll probably have a link associated with this video as well for those if you're interested. If you're new to the compliance cohort, we have free training videos just like this available in our free membership. So take a look at our free membership and sign up, and you can get free training videos just like this. We have a bunch of articles and other resources, discounts to products in our store and whatnot. If you're an existing member, thank you so much. You're the reason why we do what we do. We appreciate you, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.